Welcome to the Driver's Line. I'm Greg.
And I'm Jordan.
And today we have a conversation for you.
Yeah, our conversation today, well, it's kind of the opposite of the last podcast we recorded for you guys. We're looking at car designs that we think are going to age really poorly very quickly.
That's right. These are, we're going a little bit negative now, which is kind of unfortunate. But these are some designs that are cars now made in 2025, still available. You can go out and buy them. But we don't understand why you would. Well, in some cases, right, we're not going to necessarily say that they're bad choices. But they're just designs that are not going to really stand the test of time.
Yeah, I mean, these cars could be really excellent driving cars, or they could handle cargo really well, or many other things. But they just, they have those design elements that are really of the moment, and they're not going to last.
Exactly. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right in.
Okay.
This is a choice that I think a lot of people would agree with.
Okay.
It's a design that's very right now. It's from a brand that is all about being right now, and that brand's right now is not very good. Which, of course, that brand is BMW.
Going back to BMW.
They're starting maybe to turn the corner just a little bit. Some of their new designs, like the new X3, actually look pretty good, but this one does not, and I'm talking about the XM. This was the first standalone M car since the M1, and they decided to let it fall out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down, and then when it fell to the ground, they beat it with the ugly stick a few more times, and then they just decided to charge about 180 grand for it. Questionable decisions, especially when it's not really that much better performing than the X5M. But I'm kind of going down the path here. But needless to say, like, this just has really grotesque design elements to it. It's got the giant kidney grills. It's like everything that BMW is, just like Mr. Hyde version, right? Like it drank the potion, and now it's
That's a great way to put it.
it's no longer Dr. Jekyll, is now Mr. Hyde.
Yeah, and they covered those kidney grills in lipstick to really enhance them, right? In that
With
edition
the
version.
label red.
Label red, that's right. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like, how can we make this worse? It looks like a cross between the 18 van and a pig wearing lipstick. I don't know.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense. And to me, this design is going to really speak to this moment in time that we're in, right? Because people are going to think about that era of BMW design with the really large kidney grills, the overstyled elements, questionable design choices. And this is going to be the pallbearer for that, right? This is going to be the one who is like marching at the front, right? It's going to say, I am carrying this torch for BMW. And this is going to be the one people remember from that time.
Yeah, it's the XM is just an odd vehicle to me, and I think to the general public, because when you look at the used car prices on them, they've plummeted in value.
Oh, yeah.
And that's clearly a sign that there's not a ton of demand for them, and that means that this design is not going to age well. People are not going to want it, and you're totally right. This is just overdone. And when you have SUV designs like the X3, like the X5 and X7, prior to the facelift. Clearly, BMW knows how to design good SUVs, but this particular one, I have no idea. They were just like, you know what? Let's just throw everything at it. Why not? Let's see what happens.
Absolutely. And, one of their goals was to get people talking about their design. We've talked about this before, and here we are again talking about it. So there you go. I mean, maybe they're achieving that goal in that regard, but needless to say, that is a design in, 10 years' time, I think people are going to look back on and be like, what were they thinking?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah, the XM is a great call out there. All right, for my first pick, I'm going to go a little bit down market, but I'm going to stay in the SUV realm. Now, we all know that currently the fad is to take your SUV and make sure there is not one single curve on it, if possible. Right?
Yes.
We like boxing out.
Angles, boxes.
All over the place.
Let's do it.
A great example of that is the GX by Lexus, right? That was all cartoony and there's lots of different, I don't even know. There's so much happening with the previous generation of Lexus. And now, it's squared off. That can be done really well in that example.
Exactly. They did it extremely well. But
now, there are other ones that have not done it so well. And I actually have to eat a little crow on this one, because way back when, I saw pictures of this, and I was like, wow, this actually looks fantastic. This looks way up market from this brand, and it's coming from Hyundai. And Hyundai's previous designs were really, really derivative. And this one is also pretty derivative, I'll be honest with you. There is only so many ways you can style a box, right?
Yeah.
To be fair. But I'm talking about the latest generation Hyundai Santa Fe. And previously, the Santa Fe was always a kind of curvy SUV, right? The previous I will say the first generation was a little awkward looking, but they got kind of better as they went on. But man, this last one, it's hard to put exactly my finger on what is wrong with it, because there's so many different elements that just don't line up. It's not cohesive.
It's the rear end.
Okay, it is definitely mostly the rear end.
Yes, it is the rear end. It's the rear end from the profile. It's the rear end from the 3/4. It's the rear end from straight on. That rear bumper design, it looks like it's wearing a diaper. And it's a full diaper. That's the worst part.
It does, yeah.
And just to Jordan's point, the same thing happened to me. We talked about this when we saw pictures when Hyundai released it. Whoever they paid for those press pictures,
Oh, man.
they need to give them a raise because
sure.
they made
You're right.
this thing look fly. It looked
Yes.
so good. It looked like, like a Range Rover and a Ford Flex and like a couple other cars had like a baby, and it really worked. It had these unique lighting elements that fit with Hyundai's new design, and it looked good.
Yeah, it did.
And then we saw it at the New York Auto Show in person, and we were like, what did they do?
Yeah, and I mean the rear end is truly terrible, as you say. I mean it's just non-redeemable, and people are asked, they asked the designers about that, like, why did you put the taillights down there? And their excuse is, well, we wanted to make the opening really big. Now listen,
Cool. Yeah.
you can still do that. I mean, this is not like
Audi.
difficult technology.
Audi's like, hey, for many years we've mounted our taillights in the rear hatch, and the whole thing opens up.
Yeah, like it's totally doable. So I don't get the back hatch thing, but I do want to extend the talk just beyond the back, because I do feel like this car, it's weird because a lot of times with SUVs, they look really, really good once you add like big rims on them, like you jack them up. This thing doesn't even look good when you do that to it.
No, the XRT trim's not a whole lot better.
Yeah, I don't get it. So I don't think this one's going to age well over time because of those reasons. But
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with you. I mean, for all the reasons we've discussed, I think that's a great call out. Yeah. It still boggles my mind because it looked great in press pictures.
Yeah.
I can remember them. It looked good and
catfished us.
Yeah, it catfished us, and exactly, they hit all the Instagram filters on it, and they took the pictures from up here. I was like, oh, you're beautiful, you're sexy, I want to own you. And you see it in person, it's like,
It's true.
yeah,
It's
surprising. Yeah. And again, doesn't mean it's not a wonderful car to drive and own and all that kind of good stuff and useful, but it's just a design I think that is also going to be very moment in time. So that's a really good call out. All right, so my next choice isn't just a specific car; it's an entire lineup. Ooh. And I don't say this to be mean because I actually like the design. I think it looks really, really interesting, unique, and cool. And I just don't think it's going to age well. It's going to be very moment in time, regardless of whether you like it or not. And that's kind of the purpose of the discussion today. And so I'm going to go with all of the current Kias on sale.
Oh, I thought you liked the Kia K4.
I love the Kia K4. It's a great car. Again, and this is not anything to do with the quality of the cars or even like the design right now. The design right now I think is interesting and unique. One of the things that so many journalists were so hard on with Kia was how derivative their designs had been for a number of years. They stole elements from everybody, right? And they hired away the Audi design chief, and then their designs got really, really good. Think about like the Stinger and some of the other Kias around that era, and then they're like, what comes next, right? And so this Opposition United design came along, and it's really interesting, unique, it's edgy, it's modern.
Yeah, for sure.
But sometimes modern doesn't mean timeless, right? And I think that's the issue with this design. It's definitely not going to be timeless. It's going to look very moment in time for probably a period of maybe like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, they're pretty busy, and right now, that seems to be a trend. But I don't think you're right. I think you're right. They're not going to last. There's just too much going on with them, and I mean, credit where credit's due. They stand out.
Oh, absolutely. They do. They have people talking about them. So many people have been like, I want to know what that KN car is when they redid their badging. I'm like, well, if you want it to be an N, it's actually backwards. But beside the point, I think the new badge is really interesting, unique, and distinctive, which is probably the goal, right? And, And this design echoes that sentiment. It's distinctive. Yeah, and I think it looks good right now, but I just don't think in 5-10 years time we're going to be looking back on these and be like, wow, those were really well-styled cars. I think they're well-styled for this moment.
I totally agree with 100%. That's a great call out. Yeah. Yep. Well, I also had a lineup picked out too.
Ooh, a whole lineup.
It's not Kia. It's quite a different market than Kia. And it's funny because when we talk about timeless designs that age really well, we really talked about how typically the less elements you have to something, the better it's gonna withstand the test of time, and the more purposeful the design is. that kind of stuff. So I would say this lineup is purposeful, and there's really not much to them. But these actually hurt this design, I think, and it's the entire Mercedes EQ lineup. Now, you pick out any of them, and it basically just looks like they photocopied the same design and just shrank it 200%, minus 50%. Maybe we stretched the scale a little bit to make it an SUV.
Same sausage, different length. I mean, the Germans have been doing it for years.
So, obviously the reason behind this is aerodynamics, right? So they have a very flat front grille with no grille on it, I should say, for the aerodynamic reasons. They look like jelly beans, right? Even the SUVs are curved off at the end, but it's not done in an aggressive way. It's not done in a tailored way. They look inflated, like they've gotten an infection.
Exactly. Or just someone just like stuck an air pump in them.
Yeah. They're overinflated. So, I mean, I get that you're designing for aerodynamics, but let's talk about a car we brought up in our timeless designs, the Lucid Air. That car is a 0.197 drag coefficient, which is remarkable, but it looks great. It looks great. So there's
it
ways
cuts
to
through
do
the,
that.
exactly. There's a way to cut through the air and make it look good. It doesn't need to look like a blob, which is what those look like. They look like blobs. And it's just not well executed. Someone interviewed one of the Mercedes executives about this, and they were very defensive about it, which I thought was kind of surprising. Usually when you make a mistake, you own it. But they were very defensive. They're like, we just think this design maybe came out, maybe 10 years too early. Yeah, I don't think so. The problem with the Mercedes EQ line is it looks like what someone from the 80s would envision a car today.
You're right. It totally channels the 90s, the 80s into 90s jelly bean styling. But this is what it's going to look like in the future, right?
Yes.
And there's not much to them other than just the blobbiness.
I know.
It just,
Really unfortunate. And I mean, that's really shown in their sales numbers.
Yes, they've
a
tanked.
lot of folks agree with that sentiment and just reject it for that way, shape, and form. It's just amazing what you can find in EQS for sale for these days. This is a car that was started over $100,000, and now you can find one used for $39,000 with barely any miles on it.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't make it a bad car. It just makes it a design that's not going to hold up.
Yeah, it's not going to hold up at all.
All right. Well, I'm going to hit the EVs again with this next one. So, but I think a lot of folks are going to agree with this one. Especially considering the fact that many of these are sitting on dealer lots, or I guess I should say sales center lots, and leased space from malls and other places because they don't have enough space to park all the ones they made in their factory down in Texas.
Please don't. I can't. I don't want to listen to this.
You know what
it's
it is.
It's going to ruin my day.
You're going to have to hear it. And you're going to have to think about it. And when you edit this video, you're going to have to put B-roll of it up and look at it.
You've done this to torture me.
I did. I'm talking about the Tesla Cybertruck, which looks horrible and is a very poor truck. But that's beside the point. We're talking about design today. The design was clearly made on a napkin.
Literally.
It's failed in so many different ways. It was supposed to have a stainless steel exoskeleton, but instead they decided just to glue all the stainless steel panels on because it was too hard to do. When a design is too hard to do, you need to go back to the drawing board, right?
Especially if it's just straight lines.
I know. Which then makes it a bad truck, right? I mean, this is part of the problem. When you're trying to force this design, you compromise so many other things. And, we've talked a lot about things being a moment in time right now. This was a moment in time 30 years ago, 20 years ago, right? I mean, that's part of the problem. You think about something that has to be very Tron, very, angular, Judge Dredd, it just does not work. It doesn't work. I understand that, Elon had a very specific vision he wanted to achieve, but it's bad and it failed.
Yeah, I think the vision that he had was trying to impress 5-year-olds who can only draw cars in straight lines.
Yeah.
Because it's I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It is. And, it's undeniably unique on the road. When you see one,
yeah, that's true.
You obviously notice it, but not for the right reasons. When you see it, you try to look away because you just don't want to ruin your day.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a good point. This design's kind of forced on the public, really. No one in the truck market's oh, you know what I really want? I want a tonneau cover that covers my rear view and really does nothing, honestly.
Well, aero.
But does the truck owner really care about aero? Barely. Maybe the 10 people that bought a Cybertruck. F-150 owner, Silverado owner, a Ram owner, they don't care about that. Yeah. Right? They want durability. They want things that...
They just want use. They want it to be a utility.
Yeah, exactly.
They want it to be an instrument of utility. And that's just where the Tesla Cybertruck fails because of its design. And that design is not going to stand the test of time. It's going to look it's going to look worse than it does right now in 5 years' time, 10 years' time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good call out. And I'm going to move on because I'm going to throw up. All right. My last one is a completely opposite direction from the Cybertruck in every way. So this one kind of hurts a little bit only because, this was also a car when it came out, it was kind of like, ooh, I like this. This could be something I want to own in the future. And it's got great bones. It does get lambasted because it's shared platforms with another manufacturer. A manufacturer we've brought up, BMW.
Ooh.
BMW's Z4 is actually styled pretty well compared to the rest of its lineup. Doesn't offer a coupe though.
No,
so if you want a coupe version of that platform, you are forced to go over to Toyota and their Supra. Now, previous to this current generation Supra, when you look back at previous designs, most of them are pretty clean looking designs and purposeful. The later one, not so much.
No.
Unfortunately, the concept Supra looked pretty interesting, but you expect when a concept goes from concept to production, they tone it down a little bit to make sure. I feel like they went the opposite direction with this one. Like, let's how many other things can we tack on to this? And at first, like, it looks pretty impressive when it comes out, and then you're like, what on earth is happening here? I don't think this is going to look good. I mean, especially the face on it over time, I think it's going to look pretty bad.
Yeah, well, the problem was they had an excellent concept. Yeah. The concept for the Supra looked really good. Yeah. I mean, that thing just looked bonkers, amazing, right? Then development took too long, and that was part of the issue. And they were like, oh, we need to figure out a way to bring in every one of these design elements off of the concept to make the buying public happy. The problem is all this stuff looks tacked on the Supra. Yeah, and the other thing that kind of bothers me about the Supra is in stock form, it doesn't look great. You can make it look great in the aftermarket. Yeah, it's one of those things, if you put the right wheels on it, give it a little bit of stance, a little bit of aero, it actually starts to work, right? It starts to kind of come together a little bit, right? But just, in stock form, it just kind of looks awkward.
Yeah, and to your point, like, there is stuff you could do to it to make it look better. And it's a shame that Toyota did not want to throw some money at this thing, but I get it. Like, there's not much money to be made in supercars, sports cars. Yeah. But come on, you could do better. You are Toyota after all. That's a huge company, and all we're looking for is different bumper design, maybe, maybe shave off a couple of those fake grills that are on there. I mean, I don't know. It's a shame because the Supra is such a legendary name. It deserves better.
Yeah, it's kind of the same problem that the C8 has, right? Yeah. It's just a little try hard.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, so we'd be really interested to see what you guys think. I mean, what are some designs that you think are not going to age well? Drop them in the comments.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us on The Driver's Line.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss a thing.